Hello and welcome to this webinar today on crowdsource funding. We'll just wait for a few more of the late registrations to come through. If you have any questions during the webinar, can you please type them into the computer and in webinar jargon, raise your hand and I will answer the questions later in the webinar. Equity is now being raised by some small companies. Small proprietary companies are eligible to raise equity direct from investors, and this has been around since the 19th of October 2018. Someone rang me the other day and was quite surprised that a small company could actually raise money from the public. Well, they can, and it's been law since the 19th of October. In fact, it would appear that the 7 intermediaries currently have around 35 companies that are listed on their websites, and we're going to visit their websites later in this webinar. And those companies are raising capital from the public. There's 7 intermediaries, and they've been appointed by the Australian Security Investment Commission, and they are active in the marketplace. This is a great opportunity for accountants. My recommendation is you identify your clients who are companies or any other type of business, because they can easily be incorporated into a company. The key attribute is that they have a turnover less than $25 million per annum. Most of these companies or businesses will be clients of small to medium-sized accountancy firms. And our aim in running these webinars and in developing the corporate governance equity raising product package has been to assist accountants in small and medium-sized accountancy firms all over Australia to claim ownership of this unique opportunity to assist your clients to be able to raise some capital. It's a great opportunity for your firm to be seen to be a proactive advisor in this space. And it gives you an opportunity to grow with your clients. And it also offers new challenges and opportunities for your team. They will be doing interesting work that I'm sure some of them will describe as being real accountants' work. And it also will create new income streams for your accountancy firm. And in this day and age where the ongoing comments from accountancy firms seems to be complaining about problems within the tax return preparation market, surely that's a good thing that crowdsource funding is producing for proactive accounting firms in Australia some new income streams. I think you've got a definite role in this market because these people in the main are going to be out of your client base or your legitimate prospect base. Our suggestion is that you utilize the crowdsource funding client matrix, which we have produced as part of the product package that we have developed. And this will assist you to identify those clients who may be interested in crowdsource funding. And why not invite those clients to a seminar or webinar to brief them on crowdsource funding? And the seminar material is also pre-prepared and is available for you within the Corporate Governance Network product package within ESS BIZTOOLS. The seminar webinar would last for about 1 hour. It enables you to give an overall briefing to the clients and prospects that attend so that they understand what's involved. And then you could meet with the clients who've expressed some interest. So invite them to the seminar, then have a meeting with them. Give them a outline of the services that you can provide. And all of the services are summarized within the product package. And then you're able to submit a firm proposal to them and request a progress payment. You will be able to advise on the overall opportunities that are available for small and medium-sized businesses from crowdsourced funding. We'll be able to look at the eligibility in some detail. It will be very important to summarize to clients who are potentially interested what the role, duties, responsibilities, and powers of the crowdsourced funding intermediaries are. And then an overview of what's required to be included within the crowdsourced funding offer document and what's involved when the offer document's finalized and it's approved by the intermediary and it's then uploaded to the intermediary's website for a maximum of 90 days. That is a very important conversation that you will need to have with your clients, that we're suggesting you would be charging a fee for doing that. Our indicative fee for this segment is somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 to take the clients through that process, utilizing the full package that's included within the product package that we have developed. When you find the clients that want to proceed, it will be necessary for you to sit down with the directors and senior managers to prepare a summary on the company. It could be the business plan. What type of industry are they in, and what stages is the industry at? What are this company's products or services? Who are their customers? How much do they sell to the different types of customers? Who's in the team? Who are the directors? Where is the business located? What other locations are you looking at? Overview of the company's website. What intellectual property does the company own or has it developed? If appropriate, have trademarks and patent registrations been made? What is the company's unique competitive advantage? What's going to impress potential investors? And a copy of the company's current balance sheet and profit and loss account also needs to be available for submission to the intermediary. It's then very important that there's contact made with a number of the intermediaries. You can probably assist in facilitating that. And the purpose of this initial conversation is to discuss the services that the intermediary would provide, discuss fees to be charged by the intermediary, but also to give the intermediary the opportunity to be interviewing the directors and senior management, for the intermediary to make a decision as to whether they wish to assist your client company on this journey. Some of the intermediaries are trying to specialize in particular industries, so they may not be suitable for your client, but they may then suggest that you talk to another intermediary. The legislation does not specify what the fees will be that are payable to intermediaries, but the agreed fee can be paid in cash, in shares, or a combination of cash and shares. I just checked then to see if there's any questions, because I'd got rolling along and forgot about the questions. If you have any questions, can you please type them into your computer and raise your hand, thanks. So the fees could be a combination of cash and shares. But whatever they are, the agreed fee must be disclosed in the crowdsourced funding offer document and also on the intermediary's website. You also need to determine what upfront payments will be required. So the upfront payments could include an onboarding fee, and this seems to be variable from $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the intermediary that you're talking to. Most intermediaries are going to suggest that the company produces a video and that the video is produced by a firm nominated by the intermediary so that the intermediary influences the style of that video. And this is a very important part of the process. That cost has to be borne by the company and will be a cost of $4,000 to $5,000. The design fees for a brochure and the final production of the crowdsource funding offer document, fees of $1,000 to $2,000. And the fee to be charged by the intermediary varies, but it seems to be around 6 to 8% of the capital raise. Now, that could be in cash or it could be in a parcel of shares in the company that is being calculated on that sort of basis. When you have discussions with the intermediaries, you also need to be aware that some other issues may be raised. The intermediary may be suggesting that there be some pre-seed round capital raising first and or a private launch as part of the crowdsource funding capital raising. And we'll talk more about both of those items in a little while. There should be a discussion with the intermediary as to what type of information they believe should be disclosed about this company in the crowdsource funding offer document. And please remember that the final arbitrator of the suitability of the crowdsource funding offer document is the crowdsource funding intermediary. But at this stage, you're only having discussions with a number of intermediaries. You can talk to the whole 7 of them if you like, or pick 2 or 3 of them and allow your client to get a feeling as to whether they might be comfortable working with these intermediaries, because they are a very important component in this overall process. And your client, both the directors and the senior managers, need to be able to communicate and work with these intermediaries. Now I'm going to give you now some comments that I've obtained from some of the intermediaries in telephone discussions with them. And this was a very important comment, I thought. In the United Kingdom, crowdsource funding is a larger share of the market than venture capital. Crowdsource funding is larger than venture capital in the United Kingdom. I'll be interested to follow up what's happening in the USA, Canada, and Europe. Individual intermediaries appear to have 20 to 30,000 potential investors. When you check out their websites, they indicate the number of investors that they have on their books, in their databases. And when they list a company, I'm told that they immediately send an email to all of the investors that they have listed with them to give them details of the new company that they have listed onto their website. Some accountants have rang me and been concerned that the company itself has to go out and raise this capital. The company can do part of that, and we'll refer to some of that in a moment. But the intermediary accepts that one of their key roles is to communicate with the people who have already registered an interest with them as being a potential investor. Now, some of the intermediaries have expressed a preference for companies to have some pre-seed funding before proceeding. Now, pre-seed funding will be capital that's been raised under Section 708 of the Companies Act. And you will recall that a company can raise up to $2 million in a 12-month period from no more than 20 investors as part of pre-seed funding. Now, this requirement is not mentioned in the legislation, but some of the intermediaries are talking about it, that they would prefer that to happen. one of their key reasons for that is that it helps establish a value for the company. If some arm's length investors utilizing a Section 708 capital raising have agreed to make a cash contribution that puts a value on the company of $2 million, then it's considered that that will assist in creating a value in the minds of the retail investors who are the eligible investor group that we're referring to when we're talking about crowdsource funding equity raising. And some intermediaries also prefer a private launch, which again is not covered in the legislation. And again, this is trying to establish that there is a value for the company and that other people have already invested. So for the first 30 days of the 90-day listing period, they would not publicize the listing on their website, but it would be available for the company to coordinate with the intermediary to send information that always must include the investment warning, of course, to employees, shareholders, customers, suppliers, family and friends of shareholders and senior management, to see whether they will agree to invest in this first 30-day period. And at the end of that, when the intermediary then proceeds to release the company details on their website for the public to view, they would like to have already indicated that a parcel of shares has already been acquired by these key people, people who know something about the company, because they're either customers, suppliers, employees, or friends of the directors, shareholders, senior management. And if the target is to raise $700,000 and $300,000 has been raised by these group of people, the intermediaries believe that it is a good start to the overall capital raise. And that's the benefit of the private launch. It gives the company some external investors before going to the public. Let's now look at the crowdsource funding offer document. The legislation indicates that the crowdsource funding offer document is not a document that will be prepared by the intermediary. So the legislation does not envisage that the preparation of the offer document is a role for the intermediary. The intermediary, however, can have some input into that document, because after all, they're the ones that are going to sign off on it being acceptable. I believe that the key advisor relative to the preparation of the offer document, and in some cases, probably the complete author of the offer document, could be you as the accounting firm. Within the product package that we have developed, there are templates and other supporting documentation to enable all of the information that is required in the offer document to be prepared. And there is a significant amount of information that has to be disclosed to comply with the law. And then there is the other very interesting information that investors will be very keen to read about who the company is, what its market is, who their customers are, what the company hopes to achieve, what its intellectual property is, who the management team are. All of this information is what investors are interested in seeing. The documents that are relied upon for the offer document all have to be appropriately filed, because they've got to be kept for at least 6 years. So my suggestion is that you would establish that system so that you know that those documents are readily retrievable if they are needed. There's then going to be some liaising. In fact, one intermediary told me last week that the documentation may go backwards and forwards quite a number of times between the company and the intermediary before everyone is happy with the final document. And then the final crowdsourced funding offer document is submitted to the intermediary for uploading to the intermediary's website. And prior to that happening, of course, the intermediary's got to go through and make sure that all of the legal requirements have been abided by so that they can sign off on the report that they have to submit to ASIC about this company. The next item I want to raise with you is communications. The legislation indicates that the intermediary must operate an appropriate communication channel for the period of the listing. So it could be a 90-day period. Now, the communications could include intermediary authorized videos, webinars, in-house presentations. I watched a webinar last Friday, which was presented by the CEO of a company that is attempting to raise capital. The introduction and the investment warning were read by a representative of the intermediary. But then the company CEO went ahead and did the overall presentation. The intermediaries that are available, and we're going to go through a few of these now, and I'm just going to go through them first of all. So we've got Bill Folder in Sydney. We've got Equites in Sydney and Auckland. We have Big Start Capital in Perth, Virtual Financial Services in Melbourne, On Market in Sydney, and Enable Funding in Adelaide, and Capital Labs in Sydney. So they're the 7 current intermediaries. There is talk in the marketplace of some additional intermediaries being formed. So I thought we would now go to an intermediary's website and give you a look at what the intermediaries are doing. So what you have on the screen now is information from Bill Folder. There's full details there of information for investors and for entrepreneurs. Company can create their own campaigns. The investment warnings are there, the general CSF risk warning and withdrawal rights. So that's an overview of those webinar. The next one is Equites. My apologies for my pronunciation there. It's probably not right. You see they're advertising that they will take investments from as low as $50. Here's a company that's already raised $1.8 million. And there's some there's some videos that you can click onto to get more background information as to what is occurring in those markets. So I'd be suggesting that you have a good look at the information that's available so that you can take advantage of getting some information. So suggest to your clients that they start going onto these websites and have a look at what is available for them to review so that they get some interesting background information on these companies. In summary, crowdsourced funding is a great opportunity for some of your clients to go to the next level. Crowdsourced funding creates new revenue stream opportunities for proactive accountants. Your accounting team members will welcome the opportunity to undertake a range of interesting and varied work. And for more information, you can go to our website, essbiztools.com.au, crowdsource funding, learn more, which I'm taking you to now. And then you have the information on crowdsource funding equity raising, an overview of the system, and then you can click through to learn more. And it will give you a full overview. There is a video, there's a webinar, and there's a full summary of what's included in the product package which ESS BizTools has produced to assist accountants to undertake these duties. We have a summary of what we consider the potential fees are, and the initial mentoring type fees, and then additional work if you have to do it. So that information is all there for you to review. And then there's a summary of what's in the actual product package. You can view all this because this is on Learn More. If you want to go and have a look at the first webinar that we produced on crowdsourced funding, which covers a lot of the preliminary information which we haven't covered in this webinar today, you can click onto that link to YouTube and you will be able to watch the webinar, which we called Crowdsourced Funding for Private Companies Presents Opportunities to Create New Income Streams. It is a webinar targeted at accountants, but it does summarize the requirements that a company needs to participate in this capital raising process. ESS BizTools product package has been prepared to assist you as accountants to be proactively involved with your clients on this very exciting concept of a capital raising journey. I'm old enough to remember back 30 odd years ago when Section 708 was first introduced. Yes, for you younger people, prior to that stage, there was virtually no way that companies could raise capital unless they become unlisted public companies. Section 708 is still in the system, and I've referred to it in this webinar today. But we've now come a long way. A small proprietary company with its turnover under $25 million and assets under $25 million can now raise up to $5 million in a 12-month period from the public. So our product package has been prepared to assist you to be able to give advice to your clients. Our normal subscription for our crowdsourced funding equity raising product package is $999 for 24/7 access per office for 12 months, including GST. But we have a special one at present, and you saw the advertisement when we went to the ESS BizTools website, there's a special Christmas 40% discount because we want to see hundreds of Australian accounting firms proactively involved in this space, not waiting for the client to come to talk to you because the client might never come. They may have already gone to talk to someone else who might be an accountant, or it could be some sort of broker or other consultancy type service. And the real risk that accountants run is that shortly thereafter you may get an ethical letter from another accountant who's associated with that other firm because they now want to move their taxation work as well. We recommend that you be on the front foot. You subscribe for this product package this week so that you get it at the 40% discount price, and then you start using the system from early January to communicate with your clients and your prospects to tell them that you're keen to supply this service. Invite them to a seminar or webinar and be on the front foot, not waiting for people to come and talk to you, because they mightn't come and talk to you because they think you are not interested. So this special price finishes on Friday night, close of business, 21st of December. I hope you can join us. Or you can make an alternative. We've also reduced by 40% the subscription on our gold package, which normally costs $2,970. This includes the crowdsource funding equity raising package, but then includes 22 other product packages and a whole range of other information to assist accountants to offer proactive commercial services for your clients. Services that your clients want in 2018-19. The 40% adjusted price is at $1,782 for the 12 months. And this is available under close of business this Friday, 21st of December. If you wish to subscribe, please go to our website, www.essbiztools.com.au, and click in the Christmas code CSFC40 for the crowdsource funding product. And if you're interested in the gold package, please enter the code GOLDC40. We will be sending you a copy of this webinar later today, so you can get these details off this then. And we're also going to send you a copy of the PowerPoint slides that we have prepared for this webinar today. If you've got any questions or want to talk to me, please give me a ring. There's two phone numbers there. 1-800-232-088 is obviously a free number for you, or 0747241118. Or you can send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, and I will get back to you to answer your questions. Or if you want to have a better look at our website, it's www.essbiztools.com.au. And I forgot to look at questions again, but there's no questions there, so I hope I've answered all of your questions. And now it's up to me to say Merry Christmas and best wishes for 2019 from the team at ESS BizTools. We look forward to hearing from you so that your firm can be very proactive in offering this opportunity to your current clients and prospects in your area to be able to avail themselves of this opportunity to raise capital. Have a great day. Goodbye.